Welcome to Daniel's Sports Source. This is the 2023 NFL Mock Draft Special.
Let's get it!
And my name is Daniel. This is my brother. We have been brothers since we were born.
That's usually how it works.
Would like to tell everyone how this works?
Of course. So we're doing a mock draft. That means we're choosing what players we think that each team in the NFL draft is going to pick in the first round. An extra twist that we added this year is we can predict that there's going to be a trade, and so we can incorporate that into our mock draft. Other than that, it's business as usual.
Yes. And the Carolina Panthers are on the clock.
Bum ba dum ba bum bum.
And the Carolina Panthers pick is in.
All right, who you got, Daniel?
I have the Carolina Panthers second quarterback out of Florida, Anthony Richardson.
All right.
So
Tell me why.
I compare Anthony Richardson to an early Cam Newton.
Okay.
So both have the same play type, and they play similar.
What do you actually like about Anthony Richardson?
What
made you decide to pick him instead of the quarterbacks you've had at number one all offseason? You watched the combine.
Yes, I did. I watched the combine. I saw he impressed me at the combine.
I understand that sentiment. He certainly was impressive at the combine. Here's the thing with me on Anthony Richardson. So, I watch college football. I love college football. Never once did I watch Florida and say, man, that quarterback is going to be an NFL star. Or even, man, you got to watch out for Florida's quarterback. I mean, he's fast. He's got a big arm.
Mm-hmm.
He is athletic. He's got, all the tools. But, I don't know. Less than a 60% completion percentage, I don't know if he can run an NFL offense. I don't know. I have maybe he's the best quarterback in the draft, and I could see where you're coming from as far as all this athletic upside, but I think that when you're looking at taking a quarterback number one, I certainly wouldn't take him at this point. In fact, I don't know if I would take him in the first round. I think that he's got that athletic upside, like you said, but I would not take him this soon. You like to compare him to Cam Newton.
Yes, and it'll be Cam Newton because both are scrambling quarterbacks. Both can run this ball. Both can be physical with the ball in their arms, and they can go for huge gaps of yards.
Yeah, I think athletically, maybe the best comparison right now would be Justin Fields. The difference is Justin Fields, when he was in college, was one of the best players in all of college football, and he took his team to the playoff. Whereas Anthony Richardson, what did Florida finish? 500 this year? They made a bowl game, but they weren't anybody to really contend with. We should probably actually look up their record instead of just guessing. I don't know.
Now let's do that. While I was doing that, the reason why I say Anthony Richardson is a player that cannot pass up is because Cam Newton, with his talent, led Carolina to Super Bowl 50.
So you want them to recreate the magic of Cam Newton by picking a player whose body type and play style are similar?
Yes.
I see what you're saying. You can't live in the past, though. You don't go and get a player who looks like who used to lead you to success. You got to get a player who will lead you to success now. To clarify, Anthony Richardson and the Florida Gators went 6-7 this year. They went 6-6 and then lost their bowl game to Oregon State. So, if you're going to pick a player who is going to give you success, who has had success, who has all the profile to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, you got to take that guy. And for me, that's Bryce Young out of Alabama. You're talking about a multiple-time Heisman finalist, Heisman Trophy winner. He's taken his team to the playoff. He won a national championship. yeah, he's got a great supporting cast around him, but he made his whole team better. And he's a great quarterback. There's a little bit of concern about his size being a little bit smaller, but I would compare him to Drew Brees. I think he's accurate. I think he's got all the tools. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. Maybe not Drew Brees. I mean, that's a high ceiling, but I think that he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. I would compare Anthony Richardson maybe to Josh Freeman. It's quarterback out of K-State all those years ago, who is one of those who's got the body type and he's got the build and he's got the athletics, and we think he's going to be a better player in the pros than he was in college. And that was kind of true. He was probably a better player in the pros than he was in college, but he didn't end up being the franchise quarterback that he was expected to when he was drafted by Tampa Bay.
And the Houston Texans are on the clock. Alright, the Houston Texans are not on the clock, but they're picking in.
Daniel, who do you think the Texans are going to take?
Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud.
Now I'm with you.
Because you drafted Davis Mills earlier
I mean, yeah.
in the 2020s to bridge up to this draft. And Stroud, I also would compare him to Cam Newton
Okay.
because of how athletic he is, how tough he is.
And, I mean, simply put, he's the most accurate passer in the draft.
Yeah.
He's got great touch on his ball. Again, Ohio State, you know, he led them to a very successful season. And he proved himself to be a big-time quarterback. And so, I don't know. I think C.J. Stroud is one of the clear, top two quarterbacks in this draft. To me, I think Stroud and Bryce Young, you know, they're 1 and 2, and I could see them going in either order. I don't see anyone else going number 1 or number 2. The Panthers need a quarterback. The Texans need a quarterback. They've got the top 2 players in the draft at the top of the board with quarterbacks. I think that's a clear choice to take one or the other. But again, I also have C.J. Stroud, quarterback from Ohio State, as the number 2 overall pick to the Houston Texans.
The Arizona Cardinals are on the clock and picking in. I have them taking edge rusher from Alabama, Will Anderson Jr.
Hey, me too! Daniel, why do you have the Arizona Cardinals taking Will Anderson Jr. as number 3 overall?
First of all, the Arizona Cardinals hired the defensive coordinator from the Eagles, Jonathan Gannon.
They did.
And I feel like they need to have someone going as that quarterback for Gannon.
Yeah. I mean, J.J. Watt retires, and you're talking about a difference maker off the edge, someone who's going to go after the quarterback and get some hurries on the quarterback, get some pressure on the quarterback. And I think that, you know, having a game changer on your defense like that would be worth it. You know, I thought, since we got trades now, we're talking about, are the Cardinals going to stay in this position? If they stay at number 3, I think they take Will Anderson. If they don't stay at number 3, and I think they want to trade out of it, if they don't stay at number 3, then, you know, whoever they might end up. But I think that they want to trade, but they're not going to be able to. Some people have the Colts trading up to 3. I could see someone like the Raiders trading up to 3, or the Falcons, or the Texans, maybe even the Buccaneers. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be too expensive for someone like the Titans or the Buccaneers to trade up to number 3. And I think the Colts they're gonna wait it out. They're gonna stick it out, and they're not gonna have a deal done with Arizona, and they're gonna stick at number 4. Arizona's gonna be stuck with number 3. But getting Will Anderson Jr. as a consolation prize, if you can call it that, is a pretty sweet deal. So good pick for the Cardinals. Indianapolis Colts, number 4. Who do you got, Daniel?
I have the Yes, I always am Uber Eats.
Food?
Yes. Thank you, Uber Eats.
You eating on the job, man.
Hey!
What you got in there? Oh, it's the number 4 pick of the draft for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes!
Who is?
Bryce Young from Alabama.
They would love that, I tell you what. I'm going to have a bite of your snack.
Yeah,
snacks in here?
So yeah, well I'm eating, so the reason why I have the Colts go Bryce Young is because they need a quarterback.
I'm with
They need a quarterback since Andrew Luck.
Yeah, they've had a whole bunch of starters. What is it? More than one a year?
Yeah. Andrew Luck retired because he got concussion. This guy will not, because he is a game changer.
Yeah.
I'm comparing him to Drew Brees. I don't see that.
Okay.
I compare him to someone else. This is wrote that album, a real comparison for Bryce Young is really a quarterback by the name of Peyton Manning. The reason why I compare Bryce Young to Peyton Manning,
Because that's the only name you could think of because you didn't have one on the top of your head?
no. The reason why I say that is, no, it's not because he was drafted to the Colts. It's because both are elite quarterbacks, but Peyton Manning has a big arm. And that's where I compare Bryce Young to Peyton Manning.
Well, that was an interesting job of making something up off the top of your head.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it was. I disagree with the comparison. But you did a nice job of making something off the top of your head. You clearly had no idea what you were going to say when you started saying it.
Yeah.
Something that makes sense.
Okay. Let's hear it. Let's hear it right now.
So I have the Colts taking quarterback Will Levis out of Kentucky. I think he's got all the physical traits to be a successful quarterback. He led Kentucky to some of the most successful years in their history, put up really big numbers for them. I think he could be a good quarterback in the NFL. If I was the Colts, I would maybe they fell in love with him and they think he's one of the best players in the draft. That might be true. I hope that's true. That would be good for my pick. But I think that I would be a little bit nervous picking him this early. But if you're the Colts, you got to get a quarterback. You got to find a way to get a difference maker under center for you, because they just haven't had that. They haven't had any consistency, and so I think they got to pull the trigger on a player like Will Levis in this sort of position.
The Seattle Seahawks are up. Yeah,
That was a rough year last year.
yes, that was. Speaking of the Seahawks, they have the first overall selection.
Are they going to take a quarterback, Daniel?
Hold your jaw there.
Okay.
I have them taking edge rusher from Texas Tech, Tyree Wilson.
Okay. Tell me why.
Because they lost him as was this past offseason and this offseason, and why not just fill up, well, give you the young defense another young piece.
Yeah. I'm with you. I actually have the same pick. Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. I think that would be a good pick for them. I think that they could use some help at edge rusher. I don't think that they take a quarterback in the way that things fell here. In the way that my draft is, Anthony Richardson is still on the board. I could imagine a world in which they fell in love with him and wanted to take him there. I could imagine a world in which they fell in love with him or Will Levis and wanted to trade up to number 3. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to stand pat and they're going to take one of these elite defensive players like him or out of Georgia. Jalen Carter. Okay.
So, with that said, we are going to head to the Motor City. The Motor City Lions are on the clock.
Vroom, vroom.
The Detroit Lions.
Who you got, Daniel?
I have them taking, first of all, if you have not seen the Raisin video, the first one, you might say that we talked about cornerbacks going in my mock draft. So, how the Lions taking Illinois cornerback Devin Witherspoon.
Okay, I can see it.
The way to pair him with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, I've seen Witherspoon jumping up draft boards, and a lot of people have him as their number one cornerback, and I think that's fair. He's a nice player.
He's a freak player. He is tough. He's electrifying. He can just pop you to the ground whenever he does.
He's a nice player. I have the Detroit Lions at number 6 taking Jalen Carter, defensive lineman out of Georgia. Now, there's a lot of there's a lot of questions about Jalen Carter right now and where he might fall because of the reckless driving off the field incident, because of some potential concerns about work ethic in practice or coachability and that kind of thing. There's been reports out there. And so I think it's hard to predict where exactly he's going to fall. I think he's going to fall in the top 10. And if we're just looking at talent, this is one of those players that is considered one of the contenders for number one player in the whole draft. And you talk about adding him to a defensive line that's already got Aiden Hutchinson. That would be a scary defensive line.
For sure.
That would set them up in great position for years to come in the NFC North, especially with so many question marks in that division.
Especially in Detroit. Jalen Carter gets those concerns off the field. He is a freak athlete.
He is. Why don't you have him picked there?
It's because of the off-the-field incidents.
That's fair. It's really hard to project where he might go. And if you're a team drafting here, I could imagine seeing some of the stuff that's coming out and saying, I don't know if I want to invest a first-round pick in him. I hope that he and his friends and family and his support system are able to help him make good decisions and be the best person he can be.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas is on the clock. Alrighty. In the Las Vegas Raiders. On the clock is Pickens. Hey, that works actually. That was for me.
Yes. Nice pat on the back. Can you tell me who they're drafting?
Yes.
Okay.
Why not? They signed quarterback
Okay.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
They did.
Why not protect them?
Okay.
Northwestern offensive tackle Peter Skoronski.
Okay.
I've seen him be mocked up there,
Yeah?
and I want Garoppolo to succeed
Yeah.
in the silver and black, in the city that is known for their casinos.
Yeah, I think that's good thinking. If you're going to commit to Jimmy Garoppolo, then one of the ways that you can really put him in a position to succeed is by helping protect him. And Skoronski is one of those guys that has played tackle in college. He might play tackle, he might play guard, but he's going to be a really high caliber NFL player at either position. And so I think that would be a great pick in the top 10, about as safe of a pick as you can get.
For sure. So yeah.
Okay, so I have the Raiders taking cornerback Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. That was definitely the first try. Like Daniel said, he's a physical guy. He's a big body corner. He's a nice player. I think that he's in the conversation for best defensive back in the draft, and I've been hearing that the Raiders really, really like him. So I could definitely see him going to the Raiders at number 7.
We will move back. We're going to now go away from the casino city. Well, they're doing that city too. But hey, let's not talk about sin because let's talk about it. Hey. So let's go to Atlanta. They're on the clock. Let's not talk about pieces.
Let's talk about football.
Yeah.
Who are the Atlanta Falcons taking?
I have them taking Ohio State offensive tackle Pales Don Jr.
Okay. Way up there.
Yes. Now that they named their starting quarterback being technical quarterback Desmond Ritter. And with that meaning he needs protection. I feel like Ritter should be the starting quarterback.
Okay, you think they should commit to him?
Yes. If he's still young
Okay.
and protected, getting Pearson Jr. out of Ohio State can really help.
I think it would. He might be the best, like the most NFL-ready left tackle in the draft. Do you think Will Levis is still on your board? Do you think they would consider taking a quarterback here?
Yes. They like I said, like Will Levis could definitely go here,
Okay.
but for sure.
Instead, I have the Falcons going on the other line. I have them taking Iowa defensive end Lucas Van Ness. So, I think that pass rushing is the biggest need for the Falcons right now, and I don't know if I would take a quarterback as early as they have here. Like I wouldn't take Anthony Richardson in this spot. So I have them going defensive line and addressing their other biggest need. And Lucas Van Ness is the best defensive lineman left on my board. So that's who I have him going with.
Speaking of the edge rush, they signed veteran Calais Campbell.
Yeah, he's a good defensive tackle.
Compare him and Van Ness.
Well, Calais Campbell is a big defensive tackle, and Van Ness is more of a defensive end, so they're different kinds of players. But I could see Van Ness having a really good career in the NFL.
So Windy City on the clock. The Windy City.
Daniel, why are you wearing an Illinois hat?
I'm not an Illinois fan.
Yeah, so why are you wearing an Illinois hat?
Because the Chicago Bears are up.
Hey, who are the Bears going to take?
I have them taking Georgia outside linebacker Nolan Smith.
Okay, wow, up in the top 10 for Nolan Smith. Let's hear it.
Yes. They lost linebacker Khalil Mack.
They did. They traded him.
They traded him to the Chargers. Why not get someone to fill that role?
Oh man, that is a lofty comparison, but if you're talking about body type and athleticism, I think that's actually a pretty good comparison. Nice work. I don't have them taking Nolan Smith. I have them taking offensive tackle or guard Peter Skronsky out of Northwestern. Justin Fields was constantly running for his life this last year, and by trading out of the number 1 pick, the Bears are committing to Justin Fields as their starting quarterback. So I think that they're going to take offensive line help. They already got DJ Moore to improve their wide receivers, and so then you take improved wide receiver, improve your offensive line, add more picks in the draft by trading back. I think that the Bears are in a good spot, and I think that a player like Peter Skronsky, who's going to be a top NFL player for years to come, would be a great pick for them at number 9.
Yes, sir.
Philly. You know, Super Bowl runner-ups.
Yes.
The best team in the NFC and the second best team in the NFL. How are they picking in the top 10?
They probably traded.
They did. They traded with the Saints, right?
They did.
Yep, they traded with the Saints. Great pick, very great trade for them last year. Tell you what.
For sure.
So who are the Eagles taking in number 10?
Offensive tackle
Okay.
from Georgia, Broderick Jones.
He's a big guy. Biggest offensive lineman in the draft, I think.
When you talk big guys from Georgia, they also got huge guys
Yeah.
on that defensive tackle position. Last year's draft. We said his feet. I said, why is his feet? Why is his legs? Because he's fast.
Who are you talking about?
Jordan Davis.
Oh, yeah. Jordan Davis, who was also picked by the Eagles. So they're taking a big guy, a lineman from Georgia 2 years in a row.
Yes, but a different line.
Yep. Okay.
I could see him keeping, like, sealing the edges sealing the edges for Jalen Hurts.
Okay. So I have the Eagles taking cornerback Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon.
Okay.
So the Eagles have a lot of veteran players in their secondary. They had a lot of players that were free agents in their secondary, and some of those left, and some of them are back on short-term deals. But if you're thinking about it, taking this top pick to really invest in one of the best players in the draft, a high-level player that they're not going to get very often because they're going to be picking towards the end of that draft, I think that a player like Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon would add a top-tier player to their secondary for years to come and set them up for a lot of success. So that's the direction I have them going. Who do you have the Tennessee Titans taking, Daniel?
No, first of all, they might have to trade Derrick Henry.
You think so?
I've been saying the Cowboys are really interested in Derrick Henry.
Are they? I haven't heard that, but...
That's what I saw
Okay, could be.
from Sleeper Fantasy.
Okay.
So, yeah. Just in heads up on that. So, yeah. But I have them taking corner from Maryland, Deontay Banks.
Oh, you're having him go this high.
Yes.
What made you choose Banks over Christian Gonzalez?
He just, well, the reason why I chose Banks over Gonzalez is both are physical, both can play, plus Banks has been impressing me through the offseason.
Okay. So at number 11, I have the Tennessee Titans taking quarterback Anthony Richardson. So, okay, you look at the Tennessee Titans. They've got Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Malik Willis. Why are they taking a quarterback? Well, I mean, I guess that tells you that I don't think that either of those quarterbacks are the long-term answer for the Titans. I think Tannehill has played really well for them and given them some good years. I mean, they were the number one seed in the whole AFC.
Yeah.
But I think that he's coming towards the end of his career. I think that Malik Willis, while a nice pick and a nice developmental quarterback prospect, I think the ceiling is going to be a lot higher in a guy like Anthony Richardson. So if you could bring him into that system. I think the fact that they're super run heavy is going to be good for a player like Anthony Richardson because he doesn't have to throw the ball 50 times a game. I think that they would be able to scheme some quarterback runs in a way, use his mobility in a positive way. I think that he would be a good place. He would be a good fit for their system, and Tennessee would be a good place for him to land. If you're talking about a player like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't take him this early.
But Tennessee is strong.
I mean, Derrick Henry is strong anyway.
You know who else is strong?
Who?
Muscles. The Titans. So,
still small.
Get out of here! Mr. Hair Mustache! So yeah, which brings up again the Houston Texans.
Again!
I have the Houston Texans taking from Ohio State wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba.
You know, I'm not even a little bit surprised. I knew you would love that story because you have them taking C.J. Stroud at number 2 and then Jackson Smith-Njigba at number 12. I mean, we already know that C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith-Njigba can be a championship caliber duo.
And now breaking into more young players in Stroud and Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, I think this would be a great move for them. I have them taking Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver out of Ohio State, also. I think that, you know, he's a dynamic wide receiver. If he hadn't been hurt so much this last season, I think he would have been a top 10 pick and maybe a top 5. He had an amazing season for Ohio State the year before last. And I think that we forget too quickly what kind of player he is. I think that getting him at 12 would be a great move for the Texans, and I think that it would be a big step for them towards being back in that level as far as, you know, being able to compete in the AFC South. They're not there yet, but this would be a huge step for them. Who are the Jets going to land?
They're going to land tight end from Utah, Dalton Kincaid.
Okay. Tell me about him.
So, most likely they're going to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Hey, what about Dalton Kincaid?
Yes, Dalton Kincaid to help bring the physicality to the tight end position for the Jets.
Okay. Well, as you said on the podcast, the New York Jets need someone who knows how to play quarterback.
Yes, and I am sticking to my word.
Yep. Well, I say that since the New York Jets need someone who knows how to play quarterback, that trade goes through on draft night, and this pick goes to the Green Bay Packers. So the Jets land Aaron Rodgers, the Packers land Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia. David Bacardi is a great left tackle, but he's had a lot of injury issues over the last few years, and I don't know if you're the Packers, if you can sit there and really be confident that he's going to be able to be there for 17 games and then the postseason. And so I think that they take another tackle that can play left tackle, so that they've got a nice solid plan on the offensive line to protect for Jordan Love. The New England Patriots are on the clock.
Yes, sir. I have them taking Tennessee offensive tackle Darnell Wright.
Okay.
I see this our quarterback being Bailey Zappi.
Okay. I think it'll be Mac Jones, but go ahead.
But Zappi proved himself this past season, filling in for Mac Jones when he was hurt. And I see Zappi being protected by Wright because he knows the right way.
Did you make that pick just so you could make that pun?
No.
Also have the Patriots taking an offensive tackle. I have them taking offensive tackle Paris Johnson from Ohio State. For the same reasons that Daniel said, I think that it'll be Mac Jones at starting quarterback. But still, the Patriots have a need at offensive tackle. They've got not a lot of depth there and a lot of question marks at their offensive tackle position. So I think adding a player like Paris Johnson Jr. would be a huge help for the offensive line depth for them.
The Green Bay Packers. most likely to trade Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
Yeah. Who are they taking to help their team, this team?
Yes.
This pick.
I have them taking. Why not? A wide receiver from Boston College,
Good luck with that.
Dave Flowers.
I think it's a great pick. All right, Zay Flowers.
So I see him catching passes from. Well, I see him pairing with Christian Watson and start a duo with Watson.
Okay. I have a mock trade in this spot. I have the Packers trading down to number 17. So they're trading with the Steelers. The Steelers are trading number 17 and their 4th round pick number 20 to the Packers for the number 15 overall pick. They're going to trade up, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take Joey Porter Jr., a cornerback out of Penn State. I think that the Steelers see the writing on the wall and they say, hey, if we want Joey Porter Jr., we got to make a move to go up and get him. And I think that's what they do. They make a move up to 15 to go up and get him. Packers get to add an extra pick to add an extra player to that team post Aaron Rodgers. And the Steelers get their guy in, I've already forgotten his name, in cornerback Joey Porter Jr.
The Washington Commanders.
I command you to tell me who's next.
Now I command you to tell me your pick first.
Okay, I got the Washington Commanders at number 16 taking Darnell Wright, offensive tackle out of Tennessee. I think that the Commanders, their number one need is quarterback, but there's not really a quarterback that it makes sense to take in this range. So I see them adding to their offensive line and taking Darnell Wright. I think that he would be a really solid right tackle. Maybe he can play left tackle in the NFL, I don't know. But I think he would be a great addition to their offensive line. Okay, I command you to tell me your pick.
Joey Porter Jr.
Hey, see, that's what I'm saying. He's not getting to the Steelers if they don't trade up.
The reason why is the Commanders need a corner.
Yeah, they do. I'm with you.
The Commanders are commanding him to be their corner. The 17th overall selection.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Let's see, who are they going to take, Daniel?
Well, cornerback Christian Gonzalez.
Okay. I think that they would be very happy with that pick.
I see Gonzalez to the Steelers because they need a corner.
They do.
They signed a cornerback.
Yeah.
Keanu Neal was a safety.
Yeah.
But they actually need a corner that can help become one of the superstar, one of the first young cornerbacks in this draft for Pittsburgh.
I think he's a good player. I'm with you. I have him going much earlier. For everyone's reminder, I had this being a mock trade, actually. So for me, this is the Green Bay Packers. And I have them taking Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. He's kind of risen to most people's boards as the number one tight end. And the Packers tight end depth chart, like they lost Robert Tonyan in free agency. So I don't even remember any of the players on their tight end depth chart right now. Like, it is thin. And so getting to pick the number one tight end in the draft would be a huge boost to their pass catchers and would be a huge asset for Jordan Love when it comes to his first year as their quarterback. Ready?
Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah. Who are they taking, Daniel?
I have the Lions taking from Clemson defensive tackle Brian Brzee.
Whoo! Okay. Tell me about it.
So they have Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Look at their defensive line.
And who'd you have them taken the first time? Oh, Devin Witherspoon.
Yes.
Okay, so you add Devin Witherspoon to their line, and then you add...
Then I add this man.
Brian Brzee.
Yes, Brzee.
I've seen him compared to Ndamukong Suh.
Whoo, baby!
He's a big-time player, and I think some people forgot. That's a good pick. Way to pull that out. So I had the Lions taking Nolan Smith, edge rusher out of Georgia. Okay, just take a second. Let's think about this. The defensive line for the Lions now would be Aiden Hutchinson, Jalen Carter,
Mm-hmm.
Nolan Smith. You're talking that as kind of as a pass rushing group? Oh my word. They would be scary. I think that would be an amazing pick for them. He's a huge athlete. He's a great pass rusher. I think that he would add a lot to that defense. The Lions are an exciting team to think about and to talk about because they got so much going right for them right now.
Yeah, because they want to get younger.
Might be a sneaky pick, but I think the Lions might win the NFC North this year.
Possibly.
Put them on notice.
They added so many great talent. With them adding these young talents,
Yeah.
we're giving them, right now,
Yeah, the Lions are a fun team to pick for.
for sure. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's the Tampa Bay time of year. No Tampa Bay anymore.
No more.
Who are the Buccaneers taking?
I have them taken from Texas. Running back Bijan Robinson.
Interesting. Okay.
They have lots of running backs. Keyshawn Vaughn, Van Fournette. Adding another weapon at the running back position can really help them compete again for another championship.
I see what you're saying. I think that they're a lot more than a running back away from competing for a championship. I don't think running back is really the way to go. I have them taking edge rusher Miles Murphy out of Clemson. I think that adding to their defensive line and adding an elite player to their defensive line would do more for them in the long run than just adding a running back. Even though Bijan Robinson is probably one of the better overall players in the draft. It's just the running back position, the positional value is hurting him right now.
As a running back, I see Bijan Robinson helping out the running game.
Now that you say that, I don't think I even picked him in the first round. I think I forgot about him.
Ew.
We'll see.
No, it's not the Daredevil selection.
It's not the 5th either, it's the 20th. The Seahawks are back. Who are the Seahawks going to take, Daniel?
TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnston.
Okay, I like it. Tell me about it.
They re-signed, they restructured Geno Smith.
Yep.
And they have Dickie Metcalf
Yep.
and Tyler Lockett.
Yep.
Pair those two with Johnston, and that can be a very scary trio.
You know, I actually also took wide receiver. I took Zay Flowers, wide receiver, out of Boston College. I think that you add another weapon to that offense, and even though Geno Smith may be the long-term answer, he may not be. But again, I don't think this is really where you're taking a quarterback regardless. I think that adding more really talented players to that roster is going to be the right way to go, and Zay Flowers is exactly that.
For sure. Receivers can help
Quarterbacks.
win games for quarterbacks.
Wide receivers help quarterbacks, what can I say? So the 21st selection is the LA Chargers. Who do you have them taking, Daniel?
First of all, they need running back. Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs.
2 running backs in the first round? I mean, they only need a running back if they end up actually trading Austin Eckler.
I see a 1-2 punch with Eckler and Gibbs.
Okay. You're right in that the Chargers have such a good roster that they have the kind of... They could make a luxury pick, like taking a running back in the first round. I think that they're going to be smarter than that. I think they're going to instead look at the fact that Keenan Allen is getting close to the end of his career, that Mike Williams has been hurt several times, and they've got an elite wide receiver group, but they keep getting into these situations where all of a sudden they've got these guys catching passes for them that they didn't plan on it. And so I think that they're going to think ahead and they're going to realize, hey, let's add another wide receiver to that group because he's going to be an awesome addition right now, and also he's going to set us up for success down the road. So I have them taking one of my favorite picks and like fits in the whole draft is Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC, going to the Chargers in this spot. Former Biletnikoff winner. He's already out in LA. He knows how all that works. I think that the Chargers take Jordan Addison here and add some extra juice to that wide receiver room for now and for years to come. Number 22, we got the Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Who are they taking?
Speaking of the 22, I have the Ravens taking USC wide receiver Jordan Addison.
Okay, so you got him in the same range that I do.
Yes. I see Addison really flourishing under John Harbaugh. And also, pretty much with Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., and that crazy talented wide receiver room.
See, I see what you're saying. Okay, Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., Mark Andrews is an awesome tight end.
Yes.
But, like, their leading receiver last year was Demarcus Robinson, which all love to Demarcus Robinson. He was a great player for the Chiefs. He's an excellent secondary receiver. But if he's your number one, like, leading in receiving yards, that tells you that things didn't really go according to plan.
No.
And so I think that I'm with you. I also have them adding a wide receiver, Quentin Johnson out of TCU. So we got these same receivers going in a slightly different order. But we got the same mindset. I like it. I think that the Ravens are going to take Quentin Johnson, wide receiver out of TCU. I think that having an extra receiver and a big body receiver really give Lamar Jackson a chance to succeed. Or if he ends up getting traded, and who knows, I'm going to throw this out the window. But like, I feel like you got to give Lamar Jackson the tools to be a passer, to be able to succeed in that role before you can say, hey, you know, we don't think he's able to do that, or I don't know. I don't know what the doubt is with Lamar Jackson. I'd give him the money, but then I'd give him the tools to really go out there and succeed and not have to put it all on his shoulders and run all the time, which I think is part of why he has gotten hurt the last few years. But that's just my opinion.
And depending on if he's going to get rid of he did not want to play under a franchise tag.
I understand that. He wants more stability than that. I get it. What do you think? He's going to get traded to the Colts? And Colts trade number 4 to the Ravens? And
so, yeah.
So who are the Vikings taking?
Yes. The newest Viking to ride a Viking ship is defensive end from Notre Dame, Isaiah Foskey.
Okay. Tell me about him.
He's one of the top as defensive ends coming into this year's draft, and I just see Foskey as a fit for the Vikings because they need someone to go after the quarterback.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything about Foskey, actually. I don't have the Vikings taking him. In fact, I don't have the Vikings taking anyone at all.
Oh.
Kansas City Chiefs are trading up to number 23. And I have the Chiefs taking tight end Michael Mayer here out of Notre Dame. Travis Kelce, my man, he's the best tight end in the NFL.
Period.
He might be the best tight end in NFL history. Man, we got to give the man some rest. We got to give him a break. As he gets into his mature years and he turns into a wily vet, I want to give him somebody who can take a little pressure off him in the tight end room. And we got some nice tight ends. I mean, Blake Bell is a great blocking tight end. Noah Gray could turn into a nice player. Jody Fortson, you know, only Chiefs fans really know about him, but we've been talking about him for years, and he's big red zone threat, and, you know, we got these dreams about what he could be. But I want a player who I can be confident is going to be able to fill that role within the Chiefs offense. He's not going to be Travis Kelce. Ain't nobody going to be Travis Kelce. Nobody is going to be Travis Kelce ever, you know.
Yeah, he's going to be baby Gronk.
Travis Kelce's going to Canton. But
But
if you're talking about a player who can step in and fill some of Travis Kelce's role in the offense, I would love the Chiefs to go after one of the tight ends in this class, and I think Michael Mayer is the spot here.
the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, buddy. Talk about another team that's fun to pick for.
First of all,
Hey, they're good.
yes.
So anyway,
You rounded Black Bortles, then rounded. You know who it is.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
All right, who are they taking this time around?
I was defensive end Lucas Van Ness.
Oh wow. Okay, so you had him go a lot later than I did.
Yes, but I see the Jaguars getting another edge rusher.
Yeah.
They have an edge rusher and Trayvon Walker.
I do.
And Pale Walker and Van Ness and go after that quarterback.
I mean, I think it would be a great fit for them. Like, obviously, I picked Van Ness in the top 10, so I think that getting him at 24 would be huge for them. It'd be great value. I also have the Jaguars going defensive line. I have them taking Kalia Cansey, defensive lineman out of Pitt. He's more of a defensive tackle than a defensive end, like Van Ness is, but I think that he would be, adding more talent to that defensive line would be great for building the overall health of that roster and for sustained success. I mean, last time the Jaguars were good, it was for 1 year, and then it was gone. But I think they're built for long-term success, and a pick like this would help them extend that championship window.
That quarterback I was talking about, that team, that was Blake Ball, that quarterback.
It was, and that team was not built for long-term success. This one could be with Trevor Lawrence under center.
For sure.
You got to keep that roster healthy, and one of the ways you can do that is by picking good young players down in the trenches.
Definitely. I am not huge, no.
But this pick's about to be huge because it's the New York Giants. Who you got?
How the Giants going humongous, especially in the secondary with Mississippi State cornerback Emmanuel Forbes.
Okay.
And, well, Penrith, all of those great corners that they have.
So, the Giants were a fun team to watch last year. They were not expected to be as good as they were. And so they're trying to take advantage of some of that momentum. I also have them taking a defensive back. I have them taking cornerback Deonte Banks out of Maryland, who's just a higher ranked player on my board. On yours too, because you had him going much sooner. I think you add another player to that secondary, you add some more talent to that roster. We'll have to see whether that success this year whether that was real, whether that was a mirage. We'll see. But adding a talented player like Deonte Banks would definitely help as far as them keeping that sustained success.
Yes, we go to the Wild West.
Talking about America's team.
Yes,
the
sir.
Dallas Cowboys. Who are they taking at number 26?
Georgia Titan Donald Washington.
Hey, I had them take him too. Woo! Why do you say that?
I say because they need another tight end to go.
Yes, they do.
Blocking, catching the ball, anything.
It's interesting. So I also had them taking Darnell Washington. And, every mock draft I looked at, they had the Cowboys taking a tight end. But it was either Kincaid or Mayer. And they're both gone in my mock draft. So I'm like, now what do? I got to look at another position. But I couldn't find any good fit. I just feel like they're going to go tight end. And I think that Darnell Washington is a really interesting player here. He's got, kind of like Anthony Richardson, he's got that athletic profile.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those players that could be a star tight end based on his body type and what he can do, the way he can move, how smooth he is. He's a good blocker, he's a good route runner, he's got all this stuff. But his numbers aren't that big. And is that because he just, playing for Georgia, they already got the best tight end in the country. So, is it just that he was playing second fiddle behind, one of the best tight ends in the country, and he's going to go and be an NFL superstar, or was there something that just wasn't there as far as being a first-round talent? I don't know. He's one of those players that's a big risk reward. He could be amazing, but you don't really know where the floor is. So I think it'd be an interesting player for them to take. They need a tight end with Dalton Schultz gone. So
let's be happy because the Bills are going to take the Notre Dame tight end, Michael Mayer.
Okay.
Because the reason why I have Michael Mayer to the Bills is because they have Dawson Knox.
Yep.
And then give Dawson Knox go catch the ball and have me block for be a blocking tight end.
I also have the Bills taking a pass catcher, but I gave them a wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. Looking at the Bills pass catchers last year, obviously you got Stephon Diggs, and he's all world. But looking at their secondary pass catchers, they got Gabe Davis and they got Isaiah McKenzie, and they brought back Cole Beasley at the end of the year, but it seemed like it just wasn't quite there as far as like having everything come together. So you add another talented, fast wide receiver to that mix, and man, that offense is already scary. You're talking about trying to compete with the Chiefs in the AFC. You're competing with the Dolphins in the AFC East. It's a tough division.
Yeah.
And so, I think that adding a player like him really takes their offense another step forward, which is going to be huge for them in staying on top of their division and staying in that elite group of contenders in the AFC.
For sure. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Who are they taking at 28, Daniel?
I have them taking, Alabama safety Brian Burns.
Okay, I could definitely see him going towards the end of the first round, and I like him to the Bengals.
They drafted Daxton Hill.
Yeah.
And pair Hill and Brains. That's going to be a very scary safety duo.
Yeah.
For sure. Brains has I see Burns as a generational upside safety.
Okay. I don't know if I see him as having quite the same amount of upside as what you're saying, but I think he was a solid player towards the end of the first round. You talk about adding another, solid player to that secondary. The Bengals, I feel like their secondary just wasn't quite there when it comes to getting back to the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs kind of showed that with Patrick Mahomes and their elite offense that it just wasn't quite enough. And so you added a talented player like him to the secondary. I like that. I actually have them adding a different secondary player, Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback out of Mississippi State, for those same reasons.
We have the New Orleans Saints.
Number 29, who are they taking?
Tennessee wide receiver Jalen Hyatt.
Hey, okay. Tell me about it.
They added Derek Carr
Yep.
in free agency.
Yep.
They respected Michael Thomas in free agency.
Yep.
You drafted Chris Olave last year.
Yep.
And Olave is a really good catcher, a really fast receiver.
Yep.
And adding another really fast receiver in Hyatt, who can just blaze up the field like he did against Alabama.
So I had the Saints take Will McDonald, defensive end out of Iowa State. He's one of those players that is one of the most flexible and bendy around the edge. And you're talking about adding an edge rusher. The Saints didn't have a very good pass rush last year. And then they lost their best pass rusher in Davenport. He signed elsewhere in free agency. And so they really need an edge rusher that can go and get to the quarterback. And I think that adding someone like Will McDonald is going to help them do that.
For sure.
Then who are the Eagles taking at number 30?
Pittsburgh defensive tackle Elijah Casey.
Okay. I like that pick.
So you drafted Jordan Davis last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Fletcher Cox is at the end of his career.
Yeah.
And a defensive tackle like Casey,
Yeah.
he can really turn into. I compare him to Aaron Donald.
He did go. I don't think he's going to be Aaron Donald, but he did go to Pittsburgh too. I see what you're doing there. The Eagles have this habit of adding strength to strength, so
Yes.
drafting positions where they're already strong, they're premium positions, like defensive line. I could totally see them doing that, Daniel. I think that's a good pick. I don't have them taking him. Kalia can't see you here. Partially because I had him already being picked, but also because I have the Eagles trading out of this spot. This is another mock trade. So the Eagles are going to trade back. So the details here, the Eagles are going to trade number 30 to the Washington Commanders, trading back up into the first round. And the Commanders are going to take Hendon Hooker, quarterback,
Okay.
out of Tennessee. Now the Commanders, like I said earlier, quarterback is the position that they need. And like more than anything else, there wasn't really anybody who made sense where they were at. But when you can trade back up into the first round, and get a guy at the end of the first round, so because he's in the first round, you get that 5th-year option. You get him for 5 years on the cheap rookie deal. Hendon Hooker is the kind of guy who could come in and start right away. I think. I don't know what his ceiling is like. He had an amazing year this year before he got hurt, but I don't know. I really like that pick. I like Hooker to Washington. And for details, I have the Eagles trading number 30 overall pick to Washington. Washington trades their second round pick, number 47 overall, and a 2024 second round pick. Okay, who are the Chiefs taking, Daniel?
First of all, the Chiefs lost Frank Clark,
Yep.
got Georgia Minahill, but how about defensive end from Iowa State, Will McDonald IV?
I think it's a great pick.
The reason why Will McDonald is because we need an edge rush like Perry. The Chiefs need someone to go after the quarterback with Chris Jones,
And
Minahill,
Karlaftis.
Karlaftis, yes.
I agree that an edge rusher would be huge for the Chiefs. That the Chiefs' pass rush has been good, but I think that having some more depth there would be really helpful for the Chiefs.
Definitely.
I think it's a good pick. I have the Chiefs trading out of that position. We talked about that. The Chiefs traded up to 23, and now I'm picking for the Minnesota Vikings. I actually have them also taking a defensive lineman, an edge rusher, Felix Anuduke-Uzoma. That was definitely the first time I tried that. Out of Kansas State. I think that he's a player I've seen mocked to the Chiefs in this situation a lot. I think he's going to go either late first round or early second. He's going to be a really solid pass rusher in the NFL, and so I think it'd be a great addition for the Vikings. Vikings, I'm not sure exactly what their future looks like, whether they're going to try to run it back with Kirk Cousins for the next few years, whether they're going to try to blow things up and change things a little bit. I don't know. They're kind of in the a holding pattern. We'll see. I don't think they were quite as good as their record last year. To the defensive line depth can only help them going forward. All right, Daniel, another mock draft special down. Woo! What do you think? Did anything surprise you?
A lot of things did.
What were some big surprises for you?
The Chiefs trading up again.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised you went Anthony Richardson at number 1. That's a bold move, my friend, but we'll see.
Not as bold because Frank Reich actually really likes Anthony Richardson.
I'm sure he does, and we know that he likes taller quarterbacks, and Bryce Young is not that. I've been hearing Bryce Young recently, but who knows? We could see any number of things happen in that number 1 overall pick.
I may be right, I may be not, but I saw that Anthony Richardson is a favorite of Frank Reich.
So, which team do you think got the most better during this first round? Which team made the biggest jump?
I say the Lions.
That's what I'm going to say, too. They added a ton of defensive. Both of us added 2 really talented defensive players for the Lions. And the Lions' offense was there. Their defense wasn't quite there last year. So you add even more talent to that roster. They could be fun to watch next year. I think the Texans also got a ton better.
For sure.
We talk about adding a top-tier quarterback and a top-tier wide receiver. I think that they could be more exciting to watch yet. They're not there yet, but they could be a lot more exciting to watch next year.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in to the Dead Ever Mock Draft Special.
It's a tradition.
This will be a tradition for our lifetime.
No, I'm in. Let's do it.
Let's do this then.
Snap. Daniel. Snap.
My name is Daniel. My brother Adam is right here. Do you have anything to say to this Boss Sports and Sports fam?
Hey, so what did you think of our mock draft? Do you have any thoughts? What surprised you? Which team do you think is going to get better in this NFL draft? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for checking out Daniel Sports Shorts for this special edition. And thanks for supporting Daniel Sports Shorts.
And no.
Hey, you say something.
Yes. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Mock Draft Special.
Woo!
My name is Daniel. That's my brother Adam. We're gonna do I say it together.
Get some hamburgers!
Get some hamburgers and we're gonna peace out for this year's Mock Draft Special. We will see you next year.